Your heart has carried you through love, loss, and long walks. But after 70, it faces a silent threat, hiding in plain sight, inside a food many still eat each week. It doesn't shout, it doesn't sting, but it slowly raises your blood pressure, inflames your arteries, and pushes your heart toward a breaking point. What's most dangerous isn't what it tastes like, it's what it does behind the scenes. And when we reveal the number one food at the end of this video, you may never look at your grocery list the same way again. At 70, your arteries have seen decades of wear. Pressure, inflammation, and one hidden food accelerates it all. Most don't even know it's risky. But the science is clear, and you deserve to feel safe in your own body again. Let's uncover the real culprits and how to replace them without missing the comfort they bring. 1. Canned soups and packaged meals. Canned soup. The kind you reach for when the day feels heavy and cooking feels like too much. But for the aging heart, that simple may carry more weight than you realize. Most seniors don't think twice. The label says low sodium, or it's the same brand they've trusted for decades. But what your body could handle at 50 may now tip into dangerous territory. That's because sodium doesn't just flavor food, it alters your entire circulatory rhythm. Let's get specific. Salt causes your body to hold on to water. That excess fluid increases the volume of your blood. Imagine your heart like a small pump, now forced to push through a crowded pipe, day after day. According to the American Heart Association, 2021, adults over 70 who consume more than 2,000 milligrams of sodium daily have a 36% increased risk of heart failure. And most canned soups, they sneak in over 700 milligrams per serving, sometimes more than half your daily safe limit in just one bowl. Here's what's happening inside. That constant fluid pressure wears down the arteries, especially the delicate endothelium, the inner lining that regulates dilation and blood flow. Over time, the arteries stiffen. Blood can't glide smoothly, and that's when the silent buildup begins. Helen, one of my patients, 73 years old, never missed her evening ritual, a cozy bowl of soup with crackers. But her blood pressure stayed high, even on medication. When we took a closer look, that comfort food was pushing her well past her sodium limit, every single day. After just 3 weeks of switching to a homemade veggie broth with lemon and garlic, her systolic pressure dropped by 12 points. And it's not just about soup. Pre-packaged rice bowls, frozen pasta trays, even healthy labeled microwave dinners often contain 500 to 800 milligrams of sodium per serving. But here's the hopeful part. You don't need to give up warmth or flavor. Try this. Short term, 1 to 5 days. Rinse canned beans and veggies under cold water. This simple habit cuts sodium by up to 40%. Medium term, 7 to 21 days. Swap store-bought soup for one. You batch cook once a week. Chopped celery, carrots, frozen spinach, garlic, and no salt broth. Long term, 30+ days. Train your taste buds to crave natural flavor. Use herbs like thyme and basil, or add brightness with lemon juice and a pinch of chili flakes. Think of your arteries like gentle rivers. When salt floods the system, the banks start to erode. But when you clear the current, flow returns, steady, smooth, alive. Quick question for you. Have you checked the sodium on your favorite soup lately? What did you find? 2. Pastries and sweet treats. It's that small moment after lunch. You open the pantry, maybe just one cookie, or a muffin with your tea. You deserve it. After all, you've lived a full life. But your arteries, they're still living it with you. Here's what most people don't realize. That innocent pastry may carry something more dangerous than sugar. It often hides trans fats, also called partially hydrogenated oils on the label. These fats are engineered to make food last longer on shelves, and unfortunately, in your arteries too. Let me show you what's happening inside your body. When you eat something high in sugar, your blood glucose spikes rapidly. Over time, repeated spikes damage the inner lining of your blood vessels, called the endothelium. It's like sanding down the inside of a hose. Now, layer in trans fats. These fats don't just raise your bad cholesterol, LDL, they also lower your good cholesterol, HDL. That's a 1-2 punch. More buildup, less cleanup. In a large Harvard study, 2015, seniors who consume just 2 grams of trans fat daily, about what's in one commercially baked cookie, had a 21% increased risk of coronary events, including heart attacks. And here's the kicker. Even if the label says 0 grams trans fat, that's legal, as long as it contains less than 0.5 grams per serving, which means 2 cookies, or 1 slice of pie, can still push you over the edge. One of my patients, George, 76, used to keep a box of Danishes by his recliner. He didn't smoke, walked daily, but his cholesterol never improved. After we scanned his pantry together, he realized nearly every treat he ate had either trans fat or over 20 grams of sugar. We replaced them with a simple ritual: 1 square of 70% dark chocolate after dinner, or baked apples with cinnamon. Within 6 weeks, his HDL went up by 8 points, and he said he finally stopped feeling foggy in the afternoons. Here's what you can do. Short term, 1 to 5 days. Remove anything in your kitchen with partially hydrogenated oil on the label. Medium term, 7 to 21 days. Bake at home using mashed bananas or applesauce instead of sugar. Use whole wheat flour for extra fiber. Long term, 30+ days. Train your cravings. Keep berries, nuts, or small dark chocolate squares where you used to keep packaged treats. Your blood vessels are like roads. Sugar and trans fats turn them into pothole-filled highways. But clean, real food lays fresh pavement. Smooth, resilient, steady. What about you? Is there one packaged dessert you've held onto out of habit? What might you try instead? 3. White bread and refined carbs. Soft, warm, familiar. For many, white bread is the taste of childhood. Peanut butter sandwiches, morning toast, that comforting dinner roll. But here's the quiet truth. The softness you love may come at the cost of your vascular strength. White bread, bagels, crackers, these are all made from refined carbohydrates. When flour is processed, it's stripped of its fiber-rich bran and nutrient-dense germ. What's left? A fine powder that your body converts into sugar almost instantly. And that speed is the real problem. Imagine pouring a bucket of water down a narrow drain. That's what a glucose surge feels like in your bloodstream. It overwhelms your insulin system, causes rapid spikes, and worse, crashes that follow. These dramatic swings damage the endothelium, the lining of your arteries, promote inflammation, and elevate triglyceride levels. Over time, this biochemical roller coaster wears down your vascular flexibility. In a Mayo Clinic study, 2020, seniors with diets high in refined carbs had a 33% higher risk of stroke, primarily due to post-meal glucose fluctuations and impaired insulin response. But it's not just about sugar, it's about the absence of fiber. Fiber slows down digestion, steadies glucose release, and supports a healthy gut microbiome. Without it, your body is like a car running on jerky fuel, lurching forward, then stalling over and over. That stuttered rhythm strains every system. Let me tell you about Rosa, 72, retired teacher, vibrant spirit. But she couldn't shake her afternoon crashes or evening brain fog. Breakfast, toasted white bread; lunch, sandwich on soft rolls. We made one switch: sprouted grain bread in the morning with a boiled egg. In less than 2 weeks, her energy stabilized, and her blood sugar dropped by 14 points. Here's how you can shift. Short term, 1 to 5 days. Replace half your white carbs with whole versions. Whole wheat toast instead of white. Brown rice instead of white. Medium term, 7 to 21 days. Try sprouted grain bread. It's softer than most whole grains, easier to chew, and lower glycemic. Long term, 30 to 90 days. Add variety: lentil pasta, steel-cut oats, barley. These options not only support your heart, but keep you full longer. Your arteries are like bridges, and every sugar spike is like sending a truck across. Too heavy, too fast. Without reinforcements, they wear down. But fiber, it's the traffic light. It paces the load, protects the structure, and keeps things moving. So here's a thought. What would happen if your morning toast worked for your heart, not against it? 4. Sugary beverages. It's hot outside. You reach for a soda Or maybe a chilled bottle of sweetened tea. It feels light, harmless, even refreshing. But inside your body, something very different begins. Sugary drinks are one of the most deceptive threats to the heart, especially after 70. Why? Because they don't just raise your blood sugar, they bypass your body's normal brakes. Unlike complex carbs, these drinks deliver liquid sugar, often in the form of high fructose corn syrup, straight into your bloodstream. Fructose, in particular, doesn't trigger insulin the way glucose does. Instead, it gets shuttled straight to your liver, where it's converted into fat. That fat can build silently around the liver, the heart, and deep inside your abdomen. Think of it like pouring oil into your engine's filter. At first, everything looks fine, but deep inside, the system starts to clog. One study published in Circulation, 2020, found that adults over 60 who drank more than one sugary beverage per day had a 26% higher risk of developing visceral fat, the dangerous fat that wraps around internal organs and contributes to atherosclerosis, hypertension, and heart failure. But it's not just soda. Sweetened iced teas, fruit punches, vitamin waters, and even store-bought smoothies can contain 30 to 60 grams of sugar per bottle, often more than a slice of cake. Let me share a quick story. Leroy, 75, loved his afternoon glass of diet green tea. It said natural on the label, but it had 28 grams of added sugar per serving, about 7 teaspoons. His blood sugar spiked after lunch, followed by deep fatigue. We swapped that drink with a simple infusion, cucumber, lemon, and mint in cold water. Within 3 weeks, his post-meal fatigue lifted, and he lost 3 pounds without changing anything else. Here's what you can try. Short term, 1 to 5 days. Eliminate one sugary drink per day. Replace it with unsweetened herbal tea or lemon water. Medium term, 7 to 21 days. Prepare a pitcher of fruit-infused water each morning, citrus, cucumber, ginger, or berries. Keep it in your fridge. Long term, 30 to 90 days. Shift your taste buds by minimizing sweetness overall. This reduces cravings and rebalances your dopamine response to food. Inside your body, sugary drinks act like invisible fuel for fat storage and inflammation. You don't taste the damage, but your arteries do. Here's something to ask yourself tonight. What do you drink without thinking, and how would your body feel if every sip helped it heal? 5. Processed meats. The sandwich, a classic. A slice of ham, maybe turkey, a little mustard, perhaps a pickle. It feels familiar, simple, safe. But for your arteries, especially after 70, it can be a dangerous mix of 3 silent agitators: sodium, preservatives, and saturated fat. Let's begin with what makes processed meats processed. These are meats that have been smoked, cured, salted, or preserved, like deli slices, sausages, bacon, and hot dogs. To make them shelf-stable, manufacturers often add nitrates and nitrites, compounds designed to prevent spoilage and enhance color. But when these compounds enter your body, they don't just sit quietly. They react with amino acids in your stomach to form nitrosamines, compounds that damage the endothelium, that fragile inner layer of your arteries. Over time, this damage leads to chronic inflammation, reduced vessel dilation, and arterial stiffness. Now, add in saturated fat. A typical serving of processed meat can have 5 to 8 grams of saturated fat, enough to push your daily limit in just one sandwich. Saturated fat elevates LDL cholesterol, which acts like sludge, sticking to the damaged arterial walls, narrowing the space for blood to flow. And let's not forget sodium. 1 ounce of deli ham can carry over 400 milligrams of sodium. In a standard sandwich, that easily jumps to 1,000 milligrams or more, 2/3 of what an older adult should consume in a whole day. The European Prospective Investigation into Cancer and Nutrition, EPIC study, 2013, which followed over 448,000 adults, found that daily consumption of processed meat was linked to a 72% higher risk of heart disease mortality, particularly in individuals over 65. Let me share Maria's story. She's 74, sharp as ever, but had rising blood pressure and occasional tightness in her chest. Her breakfast? 2 slices of toast, scrambled eggs, and bacon. Lunch? Turkey sandwich with cheese. Both meals seemed balanced until we looked at the labels. Her sodium intake was over 3,000 milligrams daily, mostly from hidden sources. We made simple swaps. Roasted turkey breast she cooked on Sundays, unsalted mustard, a sprinkle of arugula, and olive oil for flavor. Within a month, her blood pressure eased by 10 points, and her afternoon headaches disappeared. Try this healing rhythm. Short term, 1 to 5 days. Remove one processed meat item from your diet. Start with breakfast bacon or deli ham. Medium term, 7 to 21 days. Cook once weekly lean meats like chicken, turkey, or fish and slice for sandwiches. Long term, 30 to 90 days. Build a go-to heart plate. Lean protein, fresh greens, avocado or olive oil, and a slice of whole grain bread. Think of your arteries like a garden hose. Processed meats stiffen the walls, slow the flow, and narrow the opening, until one day, the pressure's too much. Quick question. What's in your fridge drawer right now? Nourishment or quiet resistance? 6. Deep-fried foods. Crisp, golden, comforting. Whether it's fried chicken, onion rings, or a plate of fries shared with grandkids, it's easy to think of fried foods as just a once-in-a-while indulgence. But after 70, even once in a while can leave lasting traces on the inner walls of your arteries. Here's why. Deep frying creates oxidized oils, and these oils are not neutral. When vegetable oils are heated at high temperatures, especially for repeated use in restaurants or fast food chains, they undergo a chemical transformation called lipid peroxidation. This produces harmful compounds that, when ingested, generate free radicals, molecules that damage the endothelium, the same vital inner lining of your arteries we've talked about. Once the endothelium is weakened, LDL cholesterol sticks more easily. That's when plaque begins to form. And because deep-fried foods are often rich in both saturated and trans fats, the damage is compounded. Your heart is no longer just pumping against pressure. It's navigating through narrowed, inflamed passageways. In a study published by the British Medical Journal, BMJ, 2019, researchers followed over 100,000 postmenopausal women. They found that those who consumed fried food once per day or more had a 13% higher risk of heart failure, with fried chicken being the most strongly associated. Now, consider that a single serving of fried chicken can carry over 3 grams of trans fat, 1,000 plus milligrams of sodium, and more than 20 grams of saturated and oxidized fat. I remember James, age 78, a kind soul and lifelong cook. He used to fry his meals out of habit, potatoes, pork chops, even okra. After experiencing chest tightness, we ran a lipid panel. His oxidized LDL levels were elevated. Once we switched him to oven-roasted sweet potatoes and olive oil brushed chicken, baked with paprika and turmeric, his markers began to normalize. And he told me, I haven't missed the frying one bit. Here's a better rhythm to try. Short term, 1 to 5 days. Replace one fried side, like fries or nuggets, with oven-roasted veggies using olive oil. Medium term, 7 to 21 days. Use an air fryer or bake at high heat with herbs. Try rosemary carrots or cumin roasted cauliflower. Long term, 30 to 90 days. Learn 2 go-to, crisp but clean recipes, one for lunch, one for dinner, that use no frying oil at all. Your arteries are like the soft lining of a flute, designed for smooth, unobstructed flow. Fried foods, they're like pouring sand into the instrument. The notes get distorted. Eventually, they stop. And you deserve to keep playing your music for years to come. What's the last fried food you had that made you pause and wonder if there's a better way? 7. The number one most dangerous, frozen pizza. It waits in the freezer, ready in minutes, familiar, cheap, comforting. But for a heart over 70, that frozen pizza may be the most dangerous food in your kitchen. Why? Because it's not just one problem. It's 3 problems stacked in one bite. Let's break it down. The crust is made of refined flour, white, fiberless, quick to spike your blood sugar. That spike creates inflammation, damages blood vessels, and adds to insulin resistance. The sauce often contains hidden sugars, sometimes up to 8 grams per slice, and loads of sodium to amplify flavor. The cheese and processed meats, they deliver saturated fat, trans fat, and preservatives. A perfect storm that thickens your blood, hardens your arteries, and raises your blood pressure. In just 2 slices of frozen pepperoni pizza, you can easily consume 1,200 milligrams of sodium, 12 grams of saturated fat, 40 grams of refined carbs, and trace trans fats, even if the label says 0. And the scariest part? That's just a normal serving. Many eat more. A study published in Nutrients, 2020, analyzed over 500 popular frozen meals marketed to seniors. Frozen pizzas ranked highest in combined cardiovascular risk, particularly due to sodium fat-carb clustering. In seniors with pre-existing hypertension, consuming these meals more than twice a week was associated with a 25% increase in hospitalizations due to cardiac episodes. Let me tell you about Nadine, 76, living alone, independent, proud. She didn't cook much anymore. Frozen meals felt easier. Her freezer was stocked with mini pizzas. After 2 minor heart episodes, we reviewed her weekly intake. She hadn't realized she was consuming over 4,000 milligrams of sodium per day. Within 6 weeks of transitioning to whole food alternatives, her blood pressure came down, and she told me, for the first time, I feel like I'm not hurting myself every time I eat. Here's a healing replacement that feels just as comforting. Short term, 1 to 5 days. Swap your frozen pizza night for a toasted whole grain pita with tomato slices and a sprinkle of part skim mozzarella. Medium term, 7 to 21 days. Try a cauliflower crust or sprouted grain base with sautéed veggies and olive oil. Long term, 30 to 90 days. Make pizza. Night a ritual. Prepare and freeze your own using low sodium sauce and fresh toppings. Think of frozen pizza like a Trojan horse. It looks safe, but inside it carries the agents of long-term harm. So here's a question worth sitting with. Is your comfort food quietly stealing your comfort? Your heart has carried you through decades, quiet mornings, deep laughter, heavy days. It's worked faithfully now. It's asking you to notice, not with fear, but with care. The foods we explored today, they weren't always harmful. But as the body changes, so must what we feed it. Comfort doesn't have to disappear. It just has to evolve. Helen swapped canned soup for lemon broth. Her blood pressure dropped. George let go of pastries. His focus returned. Nadine traded frozen meals for fresh. Her energy came back. Healing doesn't ask for perfection, just presence. Start with one habit, one swap, one question before the next bite. If today's message stirred something in you, stay connected. Tap subscribe and let us know in the comments. Which food caught you off guard today? Your story might help someone else start theirs. You're not too late. You haven't missed your moment. Your heart still remembers how to heal.